Today in the crypto space, we see the market kind of going sideways. Bitcoin right around that $43,000 level and Ethereum right around that $2,200 mark. The rest of the crypto space, the altcoins have mixed of green and red throughout the market. Of course, there are some good gainers and some dips throughout this market today. However, guys, in today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use the Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin, one project, one ecosystem that has been really interesting lately, and that is Cosmos Atom. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of this market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. And of course, guys, join the Discord. The Discord's where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's begin by looking at the general market. We'll definitely look at what's going on consensus wise over the whole market, top 100 particularly. Then we'll look at Bitcoin as a leading indicator, giving us a bit of an indication of where the market could be going in the short term. And then ultimately, today's video is on Cosmos Atom. What is going on with that ecosystem? It's getting a bit interesting. Of course, a lot of eyes on Atom in the last little while. We have Kuji doing pretty good, part of the Cosmos ecosystem. Speaking of Kujira, guys, I'm doing a deep dive. Be prepared. It's going to be released on Sunday. If you're interested in that project, guys, I got some interesting information for you so you can get some fundamentals and ultimately be fundamentally bullish. All right, guys, let's begin here. Let's see what's going on here. Bitcoin kind of doing its thing here. Not doing much. Ethereum, the same thing, not doing much. We have BNB going sideways, looking for a bull flag effect. I think that could be a nice little bull flag to the upside. I know the bears might say, no, Bart Simpson to the downside, but look, we're still in a good range to anticipate that BNB, number one, BNB could be undervalued. Number one. Number two, the market is still looking good, particularly altcoins. Altcoins, a lot of people, especially now on the socials, are talking about the possibility of an altcoin season. Now, if that does happen, believe it or not, BNB is still an altcoin and it will definitely, benefit from that season. We also have XRP at the bottom of the range, not really doing much either. Solana, still within range, still didn't break out of its previous high, so still holding up, looking pretty good. Cardano getting a slight pullback in the short term, but it's okay, making higher highs and higher lows. Still looking really healthy, up 41% in the last 7 days. And we have AVAX, Beast, still doing good, holding sideways. Maybe a continuation to the upside very soon on AVAX, especially with that altcoin season narrative that is boiling up. Dogecoin doing pretty good here. Maybe waking up a bit of a retracement the last little while, but obviously I've been talking about Doge and the fact that the risk to reward ratio was super healthy, and that was the greatest time to start scaling in and building a position. I still feel like Doge eventually should wake up and do something, and especially if Elon decides to talk about it. Let's continue going down. We see a lot of this market still kind of going sideways within range. You can see Matic doing it, Toncoin, Sheeb, and Litecoin, and many projects right now. Uniswap pretty much within range, going sideways. Nothing that interesting. Internet computers, ICP, did range to the upside. It did get a nice bounce, up 30% in the last 7 days, looking pretty good. Immutable X is a beast, up 50% in the last 7 days, still grinding away to the upside. HBAR, Hedera hash graph, guys. If you missed out on my video yesterday, I believe it was yesterday. Yes, it was yesterday. 23 hours ago, guys, I let you know about HBAR. In fact, I've been talking about HBAR live for a couple of days now, and the setup looked absolutely great. So all of a sudden, we see HBAR today up approximately 5%, 21% in the last 7 days. Guys, that means that it's been grinding up ever so slightly, nice and slowly for the last 7 days, 20%. And I've been talking about risk to reward ratio opportunities and how important it is to take advantage of those opportunities. But if the price action slowly grinds to the upside, bit by bit, you lose out on that risk to reward ratio. And this is the issue now, is that H bar is slowly slipping away from its accumulation range, and now it's becoming a scenario where you're going to possibly get in longs at a not a very healthy risk to reward ratio. Okay, so this is the issue here now, is about finding a decent entry potentially on a short-term pullback, short-term time frame pullback. Injective monster, look at this thing, 73% in the last 7 days. Pretty good there. Near protocol still kind of going sideways within range. Tau going for another leg to the upside, up 22%. Not bad at all. A $400 mark, guys. Nice psychological level. That's brilliant for Tau. I'm very happy for everybody that got into the Tau position really early on, because definitely deep in the green. What else do we have? VeChain 23% in the last 7 days, but slowly grinding to the upside. Celestia 45%, still moving. Guys, that thing's nonstop. It's nonstop, and that's the issue here, guys. If you feel like you're getting FOMO to get into projects that have been nonstop, you know, take it easy, because ultimately, you know, the retracements could come, and then all of a sudden your exit liquidity. So be very careful. Look for bottom ranges. We have Render looking good, up to $4.50, up 10%. And you can see that the general market, as we speak, there's some good gainers. Definitely. Already still moving up 25%. Still good moves to the upside. So for those of us that are looking at the market and saying, you know, there's nothing really happening, guys, there's a lot happening. Overall, it does look pretty sideways, because Bitcoin, Ethereum, not really showing us a signal, but there are altcoins that are still running. And this is why the narrative on altcoin season is still alive. We have Beam looking good. We have KuCoin taking a bit of a dip, 15% to the downside just today. Guys, I'm not sure what happened, but 15% dip, that's significant. KuCoin has been on a run, which is healthy. But then now this pullback, guys, it's all about the pullback. So this could be the opportunity to scale into the KuCoin token. Maybe it's an up-and-coming exchange. Obviously, you know, BNB does need that competition, and KuCoin could definitely be that one. Bonk looking pretty good. Bonk is looking pretty good. 52% today, up almost 100% in the last 7 days. Generally speaking, guys, this overall market in the last little while has been doing good as well. Helium, part of the Solana network right now, doing pretty good, running off that hype, 21%. And you can see Osmo, part of the Cosmos ecosystem, 65%. Fetch doing good, still grinding to the upside, 25% for Woo. That one went a little bit, you know, absent for the last little while, but finally getting some exposure. And Kujira, guys, Kujira is running. In fact, it got a nice impulsive move. Its market cap now is at 650 million. I've been doing a deep dive, and it's growing as I speak. So the data, the stats that I'm going to be providing for that deep dive has to be upgraded, because as this thing moves, you know, we're seeing the market cap run. And this is the thing here, guys. When a project is up 76.4% in 7 days, the likelihood is right now it could get a pullback. Like we've seen, you know, projects continue. However, guys, you got to be careful here. Got to definitely be careful. All right, guys. That's the general consensus. The market is still hot. You just got to make sure that you get into the right projects at the right time, because you don't want to be exit liquidity. Be careful here, guys, with this market. All right. I know you're here to talk about charts. Let's begin looking at Bitcoin. Honestly, Bitcoin is doing exactly what I expected. Kind of hesitating here. We want Bitcoin to go sideways. We want Bitcoin to show us a bit of strength right around this level. As it goes sideways, we're going to see altcoins continue to run. And this is a very good thing for those of us that have been scaling into altcoins in the last little while, because we definitely want our bags nice and green. But understand this, that as soon as Bitcoin decides to take a bit of a dip, those altcoins are also going to come down. So if we do get a nice green altcoin season, make sure that you aggressively take profits and anticipate retracements along the way, because those are opportunities that you need to take advantage of. Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. You definitely see a some sideways price action. On the 4 hour, we did get that bullish divergence that we talked about, a nice class A bullish divergence at horizontal support, and we're still kind of grinding away here. Nothing really happened. You know, we didn't even make a higher high just yet. We might just get a nice bull flag, a pennant, something happening here, and maybe another impulsive move that we eventually maybe get to about 45k, maybe a little bit higher, and then ultimately we might even get a failed breakout where we just come up, get rejected, and come right back down. That could be very possible. At this point, I'm going to repeat it again. I know I say this frequently. I'm not really interested in taking risk with a Bitcoin trade. You know, Bitcoin has done a great job you know, it's at almost $45,000, guys. Remember, Bitcoin was all the way down here, where we could have got in at 17,500 and so on. But all of a sudden now we're at almost $45,000, guys. It's up over 180% since its bottom. So we got to understand that we're taking a bit of risk, given the fact that Bitcoin is a large cap, the largest altcoin, the largest cryptocurrency out there. It definitely moved. It moved like it was an altcoin in the last little while, so doing pretty good. Now all of a sudden we start looking at projects like Ethereum for indications of an altcoin season. We start looking at the large cap projects to give us an idea if money is flowing into or rotating into those altcoins, into those layer ones, those blue chips that we all look at, like Atom, like Cosmos. Of course, we like those projects because they have some volatility but still have some stability, right? Because they're larger cap. So personally, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at altcoins. I'm looking at diversifying into altcoins, both large cap and micro caps, all in between. I am more heavier on the micro caps because obviously, especially when we do get some red days, those are good opportunities to build a position on some good life-changing projects, especially the ones that you do some fundamental research on. So Bitcoin right now for me is just kind of just hang on. You can see that the daily is very overbought. We're exiting overbought conditions here on the RSI. So nothing in the last little while has really changed. We can get another impulsive move to the upside here on the RSI and make another high, but it could be a slightly lower high. And then the divergence is still intact. Higher highs on the price action, lower highs on the RSI. And on the MACD is doing a very similar thing. Look at this, very similar thing. So even if we come up a little bit, come right back down, we're still getting a third drive of bearish divergence on this price action. And for me, it's not worth getting into a fresh long when you see the daily in this sort of state. Okay, so that's my overall idea here. Do your own research. Obviously this is not financial advice, but really it's about risk. It's all about risk. All right, guys, let's take a look at Atom, Cosmos. What's going on with Atom? The ecosystem is doing good. We've have many projects that are built on the Cosmos ecosystem flying today, using Cosmos as a layer one. Obviously, at the end of the day, the base layers do well. You know, the layer ones, the ecosystem projects do very well, but they're large, right? So we have to understand that they're going to do their thing, and we're going to see the projects being built on it actually fly even harder because they're smaller cap. And you can see that ultimately this thing got a nice level of support here at the bottom. Guys, this was the zone. This was the zone to take risk. We were very close to the previous bottoms. We got a nice double bottom. We got to the bottom of this gap, this volume gap. We got a lot of price action looking left to act as support. And then all of a sudden, we got some nice bullish divergences right here on the R side. Look at the thesis that you can build here. And then now, right now, we're getting the follow through to the upside. Okay, so we got nice follow through. Now, the question is, do we get a rejection? Let's be real about what's happening here. Right now, as we speak, we're at a good level to see a bit of a reaction. Now, the only thing that I can say is that the volume gap is right up here. And this is statistically very possible that we do get the reaction at about $14.80. Why? Because there's some liquidity there. And there's market participation there that's going to protect it, right? So as we speak, we're still very viable to get to the higher levels. I'm guesstimating about 1470. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. But we have to understand one thing. Look at this spike of volume. Market participation is definitely here, right? Almost a point of control. Like this point of control, if you look at the volume, it's not that much more than the $10, $11 mark, right? So let's be real. There's some good resistance here. Now, because of that, we got to identify the fact that we're making a higher high, and we also have to identify that the momentum, if you look at the RSI, it's making a lower high. That's class A bearish divergence. Okay, now we've seen a lot of altcoins invalidate this divergence, especially ones that haven't really run yet. And Atom, in fact, hasn't really run. It's still at the bottom of the range, still looking for a nice impulsive move to, in fact, at least get to the top of the volume gap. I would say at about 1850, more or less. Get to this level, and then I'm interested about, just basically to de-risk. Obviously, we can go a bit higher, maybe hit that $25 level. Let me put a horizontal in there and show you that the reason why is because we got a bit of a gap here. Again, more liquidity, more market participation that's going to come out there out of the woodworks to defend that level. Okay, so we got to anticipate some sort of reaction here, but ultimately this is what we're contending with. Now, if you look at the price action and you look at the potential gains here, you got to understand that this ultimately is a big move already. Already it has moved. If you look at the overall entry, let's say your average entry was right in the middle of these green arrows, right? And then you look at where we are right now, you're up approximately 60% already just from this move, and you didn't break, the price didn't even break any structure whatsoever. No higher highs, no change of character, nothing like that. Just within a consolidation phase, pretty much going sideways. So ultimately, the bullish scenario is to break range, just to break above the $15 level. We break about $15, we got a bit of a volume gap to allow us to go a bit higher. And then, of course, you know, we could keep on going and start hitting that $25 mark. For me, guys, that is the absolute bullish price target, where I will definitely be trailing up stop losses and protecting gains, taking 10% off the top after every impulsive move, protecting myself as a long position definitely will give me some of those gains. But you got to understand the overall market right now. The market is very frothy, in my opinion. Bitcoin is very up there. Ethereum really didn't make a move, but still, you know, Ethereum may not. And that's the reality. We got to understand that things don't have to happen. And when you see a project run from a bottom, like Cosmos may do any moment now, you got to be prepared with a contingency. I like the fact that to have a safety net at the bottom with a triggered stop loss, just in case it decides to roll over in some profits, at least giving me an opportunity to walk away profitable. And ideally, it's about taking half on the double. Right? You know, if you double your money, take your initial investment off the table. That way you can let the rest ride and it's all house money. Ultimately, that's a really good goal for all your bags, all your position, especially the micro cap. So right now here on the daily, we're seeing Class A bearish divergence. The MACD is still looking okay. EMAs are facing up, green histogram bars to the upside, but you can see we're in the bullish control zone and we might be looking for another impulsive move. But ultimately, you know, we've seen a consolidation here. We've seen the price action hang around this area for a little while. Do we get another big move that maybe resembles something like this? It could be very possible. Okay, guys. So, but in the short term, we could expect a bit of a pullback down to the point of control. We do have a little volume gap right in here that can cause the price to and allow it to fall to about $9.50. So anticipate something like that. But generally speaking here, guys, even the price action, even the momentum here on the RSI didn't even get to extreme overbought conditions just yet, meaning really high up there. And so we do have a bit of room there for even a double top on momentum and see the RSI get right back up there. Let's look at the 8 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour instead. Let's look at the 4 hour. What's going on here? There's divergence, guys. You can see it very, very clearly, the divergence. Let's get this MACD a little bigger and see what's going on here. You can see that it's expanding, definitely expanding. The momentum is growing over time. But as you can see, we're getting an EMA cross right now, and we're getting a red histogram bar to the downside. Not a good sign, okay? Not a good sign. It's likely that we do get a short-term pullback. It's very, very likely. But remember, these little pullbacks are in shorter time frames. The 4 hour, a little pullback, and then maybe a continuation to the upside based on the daily time frame, looking for that back test. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at here for the next little while. Honestly, the 4 hour here on Cosmos not looking the best. You know, it's not really, you know, telling me to look for an entry, but the daily is still okay, guys. The daily is still looking for that bearish divergence. We're looking for lower levels, and I can imagine what the weekly looks like. The weekly is ready to go. The weekly, in fact, is the bullish aspect. Is it that it didn't even get into overbought conditions, but you can't expect a mean reversion. Okay, what I refer to as a mean reversion is when the purple line and the yellow line are way overextended here on the weekly, which means that they're going to want to get back together like we've had in the past. When the purple gets far away from the yellow, it tends to want to get back to it, and sometimes it goes the opposite way, and then you get what I mean. The yellow line is just a moving average, so it pegs the purple line to it, and eventually it just basically follows it. So right now it's very overextended. It's likely the purple to come down, and that would mean that we would get a short-term retracement to see the purple get back to the yellow, and then we get a bounce and continue to the upside so that we can see the momentum get overbought. Once the momentum gets overbought, you can expect the price action on the weekly to be carried all the way up to these levels where we're going to be starting to get defensive on our gains. Guys, looking pretty good here for Cosmos. Guys, if I've offered you any value here in this video, do the channel a huge favor, slap the like button, and of course, guys, I'm going to be live tonight at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Feel free to join. Feel free to make any requests on any projects you're interested in, and I'll put them in top priority. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.